When Josh's workplace was raided by federal agents back in 2019, he did what a lot of guilty suspects do when the walls start closing in. He started talking. You would think that people with a lot to hide would keep mum in the presence of law enforcement, but counterintuitively, many of them simply can't shut up. Perhaps he was animated by nervous energy, or maybe he thought that he could give off an air of innocence by chatting up investigators. But whatever the case, Josh couldn't shut his mouth as he sat in a car with 2 federal agents while several others ransacked his place of business. The 33-year-old rambled and answered questions, with much of what he said later being used against him in court. At one point, Josh nearly confessed to his crimes, which would have really sped up the whole investigation and trial. But while he stopped just short of coming clean, the father of 7 made several interesting remarks that are still being dissected by people who have been watching his case closely. At one point, Josh discussed his living situation, which was complicated at the moment due to a massive renovation project. "We're in the process of remodeling. I got a big project up there. It's 8,000 square feet," Josh told the agents. "So we spend some time there, sometimes at my parents' place as well. So we're kind of split between the two, depending what we have going on there." Needless to say, 8,000 square feet is a lot of house. Of course, at the time, Josh and wife Anna Duggar had 6 kids and a 7th on the way. At the time of the raid, Josh and Anna were living in a windowless warehouse on his parents' property, but Josh says that arrangement was only temporary. So why, almost 3 years later, is his family still living there? Well, Josh and Anna's dream home was put on the market in September of 2020. This was before Josh was arrested in April of 2021, but with the investigation underway, it seems the Duggars saw the writing on the wall. The house eventually sold for $450,000, which was just a fraction of Josh and Anna's asking price. We guess an unemployed former reality star who's worried about going to prison and desperately in need of legal funds is the definition of a motivated seller. The home had been listed for $799,000, but one potential buyer described it as a shell that was still in need of extensive repairs and renovations. So Anna and her kids are still in the same warehouse that they were living in when Josh's car dealership was raided, and it seems there's little hope that their circumstances will improve anytime soon. Anna was recently involved in a real estate deal orchestrated by Jim Bob, but it doesn't look as though it had anything to do with finding her a new home. Through an LLC that's nominally owned by Anna, Jim Bob purchased a large plot of land with nothing but a small trailer on it. It appears that he plans to develop the land, sell it at a profit, and split the proceeds with his daughter-in-law. That way, Jim Bob gets to hide an asset from the government by putting it in his daughter's name, and when the property eventually sells, he'll be able to help out Anna and her kids without violating his no-handouts rule. It's very shady stuff, but that's just how Jim Bob operates. Speaking of Duggar wheelings and dealings, Jim Bob recently sold off 46 acres of the land surrounding his house. This guy is forever involved in shady real estate deals, but usually he's the one buying, not selling. Is the Duggar empire finally beginning to contract, rather than expand? Whatever the case, it might be a long time before anyone in this family purchases another 8,000 square foot mansion.